Welcome to Kidcon 2021. This is a yearly event for kids to learn about AWS and the cloud. And I am your host, Karthick K, Arun. And we are joined today by Shabbir Shiroka from Tech Mahindra, Vice President of Cloud Computing. And we are also joined by Sarbjeet Johal, a cloud leader in architecture, economics, migrations, partnerships, and COE programs. And welcome to KidCon 2021. And while we're waiting for our speaker, for any kids out there who want to participate in our demo that we're going to do later, if you guys would like to stick around for the demo we're going to do later, we're going to do a demo on how to create a website with S3. And we're going to start off with Shabbir Shiroka. He is Vice President of Cloud Computing from Tech Mahindra, as stated earlier. And he'll be starting us off.
All right. Hello, everyone. Hello, kids. This is me. I'm just going to switch on my video for a bit to say hello to you in person or virtually, as they say nowadays. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. And Karthik, thank you for inviting me and organizing this amazing KidCon 2021 for a lot of folks who are joining in as of now. So today I'm really excited to be a part of this, and I hope you guys are excited to learn something about cloud. I'm going to switch on my the screen share and start with that. Let me switch off my video so that I can focus on that. All right, hopefully you can see my screen. It is a first page which is describing that we're going to talk about AWS cloud computing. Today, my intention is to give you an overview of cloud services. And Karthik specifically recommended that I should talk a little bit about security in cloud, because that I think is very important. So my name is Shabbir Shiroka. I am based out of Chicago. I am the Vice President and Global Head of Cloud Services for a company called Tech Mahindra. So I have been in this business for quite some time, maybe about 5+ years. But this is honestly my first time I'm speaking to a very young audience, a young audience who is very curious and wanting to learn about cloud. So I'm pretty impressed, and therefore I'm hoping we will have an exciting conversation. With that, let me put this slide across and ask you a question. Do you know how Amazon and AWS are connected to each other? How Amazon grew from AWS grew out of Amazon. See, Amazon was founded by Jeff Bezos in 1995 and started as an online bookstore. But he had a vision for Amazon to be an everything store where everyone could go to find just about anything they wanted, then have it delivered to their door. I'm sure you get a lot of Amazon stuff, right, at your doorstep. Early on, Amazon created a way for developers to incorporate Amazon.com content and feature into their own websites, and created software and tools so that those websites could search and display products from Amazon.com. Developers quickly adopted and innovated their own sites using the services and provided suggestions to expand the model. Amazon is really good at providing an immense selection of products and shipping those products to customers efficiently. But behind that online capability lies years of experience in providing technical services to the businesses that ensures our online stores are secure, fast, always available, and capable of meeting huge seasonal demand. Building out Amazon.com as a global e-commerce site meant building out the infrastructure, software, and services to support it at global scale. One of the engineers in charge of Amazon's global infrastructure came up with the idea to expand the approach to sharing product and pricing data to make infrastructure and services available externally. This would mean developers would have to focus buying, building, and maintaining infrastructure. They could instead use infrastructure that was already available and focus on building out software and services to bring their ideas to life. Think about how far you would get if you had to build your own laptop versus just walking into a store or buying online a laptop. It seems pretty easy to do the buying one versus trying to build a laptop on your own, right? You can get started right away with a laptop and progress much more quickly. So that's how Amazon came to lead the cloud computing. Wow, that was a lot in one slide. But let's slow down and let's step back to ask this question: what is the cloud? So, how would you describe the cloud? The cloud, in my view, helps you save and send your pictures, videos, emails, text messages from your house, from your phone, your classroom to another person or place. So, another way to describe it is cloud is a building where there are a lot of computers and storage, and your information you can access from anywhere, and anyone in your team, in your house, in your family can access that. The technical definition, if you are interested, is that cloud is described as the on-demand delivery of IT resources over the internet with pay-as-you-go pricing. In many other ways, you can simply say that cloud is a place where you can store data, music, video, and also compute capabilities to manage and access your data from anywhere. I'm sure you will remember this definition of cloud. Question is, do you use the cloud? If I were to ask you, have you sent a picture somewhere else? Then the answer would be yes, you're using cloud. How else do you think are you using the cloud? What are some of the specific use cases? What are you using the cloud for? If you look at this picture, you will get an idea. I did say that if you've sent a picture to someone else using your phone or your iPad, you're using a cloud. You're playing a game online, it's very likely it's right now running on cloud. If you're listening to music from internet or from any other source, then it's very, very likely that you're using a cloud. I mean, a simple thing, if you asked Alexa, what's the weather today? That Alexa is also behind the scenes working on cloud. So if I were to say that if you were to wonder where all these things are coming from, they're all coming from cloud. A lot of cool companies and organizations use cloud. So on this picture, you'll see a lot of logos of companies. They are using cloud in many, many, many more ways than you might know. In fact, a lot of people are using cloud. In your day-to-day life, if you're using a Chromebook, which I'm sure a lot of kids today are using Chromebook for their schoolwork, or they use an Apple Book for their schoolwork or an iPad. You use a Google Drive or a Google Classroom. then you're using cloud. In fact, if you're using cable like Comcast or so, you are, watching those programs which are coming through cloud. Your, if you or your family have been using YouTube or YouTube Kids, then again, it is nothing but cloud. Look at all the logos over here, like a Spotify for listening to music, or an Instagram, or a Snapchat, or Netflix for watching movies. All of these are running through cloud. So basically, you're using cloud every single day. Where is this cloud? This cloud, is it somewhere in the sky or in the outer space? No, it is not, obviously. It's actually, as I said earlier, it's a physical stuff. It's a building with tons of computers located somewhere in the world so it can be used quickly and easily for customers and users anywhere around the world. On this picture over here in this slide, what you see are few locations where AWS Cloud has their huge buildings with hundreds and thousands and hundred thousands of computers and storage devices hosted over there. So that you can access your information from anywhere. The cloud today is being used in almost every type of business, all types of organizations, whether you are a small startup or you are a corporation, a government organization, a research facility, an educational institution, a small school, a high school, a middle school, an elementary school, a non-profit organization. Everyone is using cloud for their business. And guess what? They are hiring people with cloud skills. So, what are the different jobs cloud is used? There are many jobs which are now using cloud. If you're in doing some sort of engineering or so, or you're a doctor, you are an pilot, or in aerospace industry, you're in the research work to do some scientific research for drug discovery, or you're in the manufacturing industry, or you are in the corporate world, education. So basically, engineers, scientists, teachers, workers in factories, um, everywhere cloud is being used. All of these jobs are now using cloud. I'm sure you can think of a lot more jobs which are now using cloud, knowing what you know about cloud so far, right? Now, let's talk. If all this information and data is stored in cloud, which is your personal information or information about the company, then you need to make sure that is secure. You want to ensure that it is protected. And that is where cloud security comes in. What is cloud security? Cloud security refers to the technologies, policies, controls, and services that protect cloud data, the applications, and the infrastructure from threats. Imagine if this is all around the world and so much of data, so much of information is being stored over here. All these are going to need a lot of protection. And therefore, the cloud security becomes very, very critical. One of the first steps for cloud security and that's what AWS is very good at, is what they came up with called AWS IAM. AWS IAM means it is an identity and access management system. IAM stands for Identity and Access Management. To describe it, it is a web service that helps you securely control access to the resources that are stored in cloud or that are implemented in cloud. You use IAM to control who is authenticated. What I mean by authenticated is signed in, and who is authorized. That means the person who has permissions to use the resources. So when you have created a, a login ID and you've put in a password, then you would have the access and control to your information. That is what identity access management ensures. When you first create an AWS account, you begin with a single sign-in identity that has complete access to all the AWS services and resources in the account. This identity is called AWS account root user and is accessed by signing in with your email address and password that you use to create the account. And I'm sure you have used the similar way of having an email and then a password to access to a lot of information. That is how you secure your information in cloud. And that's how you secure your information in AWS. I hope that helps to give you an idea that cloud is really, really a place now which is very secure. And there is a way to create your passwords and then log in with your email ID. If I were to move to the next slide, which talks about what kind of skills are important for cloud. It depends on your focus. You might need any number of skills to be successful on cloud. In general, these are some of the good building blocks on a cloud career path. And I'm sure a lot of you might be thinking, yeah, cloud is a good career opportunity. I know it's a little far off way, but you could start looking at it from a how you can learn cloud to eventually become part of this industry. Because as we said earlier, most of the jobs now require or use cloud. So my view is that technical curiosity and always learning attitude is very, very important. Technology does not stand still. It's constantly changing and cloud changes with it. Companies like AWS roll out new technology and new services continuously. Being curious about the new technology and always ready to learn new areas will make your work more interesting and put you on track for success. Next, you need to have a basic understanding of compute and networking principles. The core services in cloud are compute and networking. Once you can provision virtual servers in cloud with specific power and capacity, you can add firewalls, provision internet access, add security controls and backups, and set up automated scaling so your site and app can grow as on demand. All of this you can do if you are having the skills that are important for, compute and networking. Then there is Linux, which is a server operating system. It's an open source. It is used on everything from servers in the cloud to watches, phones, laptops, TVs to supercomputers. Very important skill. Thereafter, there are a few more things like data-driven decision making and critical thinking, some experience with programming languages like Java and Python, and last But not the least important is good communication skills. Whatever career path you choose, you will be working with a team and will need to be able to clearly communicate your questions, ideas, research, and understanding in conversation and in writing. So, good communications, I would say that's pretty important. Therefore, this is my last slide, but it kind of gives you an idea how you can chart a path to success in the cloud. My suggestion would be take a class in math, science, communication, computer science. Make an app, create your own project in the cloud. There are many opportunities for young, curious kids like you to do such things. And then when you are getting into college, you could major into a science, computer science, networking, cybersecurity, MBA, or data science. And then there are a lot of summer jobs working as a technology volunteer for nonprofits or other organizations. These are a few ways where you can chart a path to success in the cloud. I will pause here because I think I've covered the introduction and overview of cloud, what it means, where it is, what it means and where it is located, some security, who is using cloud, and then what skills are required to cloud and how you can chart a successful path into a cloud industry. Let me pause here and hand it over to Karthik. Uh, I will take any questions as and when, Karthik, you decide that you want to open up the forum for a Q&A. Over to you.
Okay. So as Shabbir mentioned, the Q&A will be the last, very last segment. And then you can type it in the Q&A, and our moderator, Arun will answer your question. And now I'm going to hand it off to Sarbjeet Johal, our cloud leader, and we're going to have a fireside chat. So, Sarbjeet, let's start the fireside chat. Okay, so my first question for you today is, Mr. Sarbjeet, could you tell us a little bit about what you do for your career related to the cloud in general? Mr. Sarbjeet, you're muted.
That's a classic for 2020. You're muted. Thanks, Karthik. Appreciate it. You're doing great, and thanks for putting this together. Appreciate that. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you, kids, our next generation. So what do I do in cloud? And that's a very loaded question. I've been doing cloud computing for the last 12 years, and things have evolving. And my career has evolved in 25 years of working here in tech. So what do I do now as of last, let's say 3-4 years, is I work with customers to guide them through the journey to the cloud, like how they can use cloud to create new applications for new use cases, and also how they can move the existing applications to the cloud. At high level, I do that. So when you drill down, that means educating them on what kind of skills they need, what kind of organization they need to lay out, what kind of new roles they need. So that's what I do in a nutshell. But actually, I want to just add a little bit to I was listening to a previous conversation or the presentation. I am not a computer science major. I took math and economics in my bachelor's degree. I'm from a very small village in India, from Punjab. So I'm born and raised there. I mean, like you sit on the floor to study. That kind of environment was there when I was growing up. So I did math and economics in bachelor's, but I did master's in economics. But I was doing research in economics when I touched the computer first time. I was in my master's degree at that point. So I just want to encourage all the kids who are watching and the parents that I believe the programming should be learned by everybody, even if you are a doctor or economist or other roles, because I think programming is what reading was for us when we were growing up, right? So just wanted to say put that out there. So yeah.
Okay. So that leads me to my next question. How do you describe what you think the cloud will be like 10 years from now, like in the future?
Yeah.
What advancements do you think are going to happen?
Yeah. So for that, I want to just paint a picture. I want to simplify things a little bit and paint a picture like how my career grew up with the cloud. When I came here to Silicon Valley in '94, cloud was just getting born, like what we call cloud today. Internet was there before that too, but internet for masses, for everybody, was getting born. The first websites were just getting made. The Netscape with the browser, what we use these days, uh, Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge, right? Those browsers we use, that was just invented back then, right? So um, my career grew with it, but why I'm telling you guys that is that okay, cloud works on the back of internet, right? So in order to learn the cloud, you have to learn how internet works. So let's just put that somewhere in notes. There's a simple book, How Internet Works, and how on the back end stuff happens. If you learn that, then you can be a creator in the cloud space. So your question is how cloud will be in 10 years. Let me tell you a little bit briefly how it grew up in last, 20 or so, 25 years. So cloud grew gradually from websites to better websites to backend interfaces where you don't see stuff on the website, but the data is flowing behind the scenes. Data is coming to your phone, to your thermostat at home now, right? Your cars are connected to internet. So, so what we call IoT devices, we are there right now. And where we are going is because we have improved our pathways where data travels, right? Data travels at the end of the day, um, data travels from one place to another. It can travel through the airwaves, through 5G, 4G, through our phones like this, or it can travel over the wires. When data is in bulk, it travels on wires between, for example, between India and US, India and Europe, Europe and us here in US. There are thick wires under the under the oceans. They carry the data from one end to another, right? Based on fiber optics. So that's I don't want to go deep into that, but that's how it works. So where we're going with this is like as those pipes get thick, that means we can move more data from one place to other. We are coming up with new use cases. As the pipes get thick and our devices get like very powerful. This is iPhone, but you can have an Android, similar phones, or any other phones, right? Um, Smartphones. They are stronger than the supercomputer of let's say 1985, something like that, or 86. They're much more stronger than that, and they're in your pocket. And that computer was like a bigger than this big room. So we are miniaturizing things. Everything is becoming small physically. And on the software side, things are becoming small as well. On the back end, we code stuff, right? And we make the internet work when we code websites, when we write code for IoT devices, we write interfaces, right? So where we're headed is number one is virtual reality, augmented reality to start with, where, for example, if somebody sends you a picture, you can look at a picture and then you can point your phone at the picture and then the picture plays based upon that picture it plays a video message for you. Just simple example. And the same that's for entertainment or messaging to your loved ones and stuff like that, right? But extend that to like hospitality, or healthcare or auto industry. There's so many use cases in healthcare. Augmented reality is playing a big role, right? People who help patients recover, they can tell them how to do exercise when they are sitting like in a different city, and then you are sitting in a different city, for example. Especially
Yeah.
I mean, my answer is long. You can stop me anytime you want.
No problem. But I just wanted to explain to the kids that are attending our conference. IoT is basically standing for Internet of Things. It's basically like a item that includes some sort of technology, which nowadays it seems like almost everything, like from your computer mouse to your computer to your security cameras to your home security cameras to your phone. It can be even like a smartwatch, the smallest thing ever. Anything can really have technology nowadays.
Yep.
Anyways, so we were just gonna go on to the next question so that we don't go over time. So the next question would be, how secure do you think the cloud is gonna be in the future? Like,
Yeah.
a lot of people are worried about how it's gonna be in the future versus how it's gonna be now.
Yes. Yes. I think that's a very good question because we hear the news about data being stolen almost like every week. There's a big hack, and like Russia attacked us, China attacked us, or China says US attacked us. I mean, it's always in news. The security of the data, right? Security and privacy of the data are two big things in cloud when we discuss future of the cloud. In my view, security is a relative phenomena, right? Like, you're never fully secure. It's like same thing what when you get out of your home to go to school or go to college or go to grocery store or go to playground. How secure are you, right? That's a question every parent thinks about and everybody should think about. So you want to ensure your security. You want to wear the helmet when you're on the bike and stuff like that, right? So, but how secure you are is all relative, right? It's never like you're fully secure or you're not secure. It's not never like that. So cloud is same way. We Our goal is to make it more and more and more secure, but we will never be fully secure. I mean, like, we were not, and I think it will be like that. Will never be fully secure. So security, when I talk to the senior execs, senior people in big companies, I explain them as this, that security is more like you are managing risk. Well, that's very sophisticated language, right? But that's what I mean by that. That we are never fully secure, right? So cloud is more secure than our own data center, than our own computers at home. I can assure you that, almost, because you know why? Because cloud companies have millions of servers, right? So they have scale, and they can hire best of the talent which knows how to do security on the network side, on the application side, and on the different aspects of the cloud, right? Cloud is set of computers which compute, there's storage and network. Those are the three things basically in cloud at high level, right? So they know how to secure those things. So they specialize. That means they're more secure. Going forward, we will need more government and private companies working together to make our cloud more secure from other nation states. That's how I sort of see it. What that means is that we need to educate a lot more people about the security in cloud. I mean, I can spend like 4 hours on just talking about the security of a cloud here, like phishing attacks, phishing actually called it. Like, when somebody sends you an email and you click on a link and then you get a virus and it messes up your computer, that kind of stuff, right? It happens in cloud context too, because at the end of the day, people who operate the cloud on the back end, they're also people, right? So the most vulnerable thing in all computing, but from the security point of view, is the people side. People make mistakes. Machines usually don't make mistakes. They're very consistent. So training people, right, having better processes, better tooling, better encryption. So that those things are improving, and we'll keep improving those. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, for
All right.
sure. So our last question today is, as kids, how do you think we should prepare ourselves for the future of the cloud?
As kids, yes, I think, as I said earlier, like try to understand how the fundamentals work. I always usually say that there are two type of roles in life you take anytime you do anything. Either you are operator or a creator, right? People who like a lot of people drive cars, right? But few people build it, right? So I'm assuming people who are watching here, kids who are watching, and their parents who are watching, they are watching from the point of view that they want to be the creator on the creator side of the cloud, not the operator. Like everybody is using cloud today. Anybody who has a smartphone in their hand, they're using cloud, right? That means tons of people, like 95+% of the world population is maybe at least adult population is using cloud, but only few people are creating it. Maybe less than 5% or something like that, right? So not going into the percentages, but like you want to be on the if you want to be on the creator side of the cloud, learn how internet works. Simple book. It can be $10 or something, or you can just watch a video on YouTube like how internet works. You don't need to buy the book. So learn the basics, and then learn how to code very basic stuff. It's not hard, right? I can assure you it's not hard. If I can do it when I was doing it, anybody can do it. So, I mean, look at you. You were 9 years old when I met you, and you were AWS certified, right? You are a role model. And by the way, I can tell everybody else who's attending, um, like don't try to sort of copy somebody else, right? You will learn at your own pace, and you will bring value your own way. Some people are good at art, some people are good at science, some people are good at drawing. We need designers in cloud, which can make websites and or interfaces look pretty and then appealing. We need marketers in the cloud who can tell the ideas, tell the stories about the cloud, right? We need lawyers in the cloud who protect the intellectual property when you build the new things and nobody steals your property, and who write contracts. We need lawyers, we need marketers, we need designers, we need all kind of people. We need people who understand other people, psychologists and all that stuff, right? Psychology people. So you can participate in cloud in so many ways, and that means in the cloud, like in the way cloud will serve the greater humanity. You can serve in many ways. But if you want to be the techie guy, right, like you are, so learn how internet works, and then learn to code, and then start putting up some simple websites and or simple interfaces, which like that means making two things talk, like you did, the IoT device, right? Internet of Things device. And you press a button here, and your car, which is sitting in your other room or downstairs or your friend's house, it moves there, right? That kind of stuff. It's a lot of fun, by the way. And by the way, when you're learning in the beginning, make it fun projects. Don't make it serious. I'm going to change the world and solve the world hunger problem or something like that. Make it fun. You have to have fun when you're learning, and you will know actually when you're having fun when your mom and dad says, "Come eat, come eat." You're just like, "No, no, no. I have one more thing to do. One more thing to do." That means like you really love that thing. Whatever you're doing, you can be a soccer player as well. You can be anything, right? So even by the way, on that note, if you're a soccer player or a magician or something, then you most probably will leverage the cloud in a different way, right? So always try to sort of read. You got to read on things, what's latest coming down the pike, and based upon your level, if you're a user using the cloud or operator or a creator, I always say that. So yeah, I think I'll stop there. I can talk for hours. I mean, I have this bad
Um,
habit.
so yeah, as he noted, you can create a website in the cloud, and I want to mention there's two different ways you could. You could use this product called Amazon Light Sail, in AWS. It's a pretty new product, and products are basically services that AWS offers, as well as AWS is a cloud service provider, as it will be mentioned in the Keynote that we're going to have after this. And on that note, it seems that we ended a little bit early for the fireside chat than expected.
I can add a couple. I can add a couple of things
Yeah,
if you want.
feel free to add on.
Yeah, actually, basically, I understand. I mean, the hard, challenging part for me is to remove my blind spots. Means like I don't know what age the kids are listening, and then what their level of training is about this topic. So, cloud is basically replacement for what we used to have data centers, and or before even data centers, we had individual computers, like we used to tower kind of thing in your home, right? So cloud is basically replacement for three things. As I said, like traditionally we needed to run the wires from one computer to another and have a storage side on the side of the computer or inside the computer. So we had the storage and the compute and the network. We had to buy a lot of stuff before we even write single line of code. We had to spend thousands and thousands of dollars, and we had to spend weeks to get the server. First, you need to have, like, for data centers, you need a building, you need a power, redundant power, like two power lines coming in, if you will. You need connectivity to the internet from that building, and then you need security on that building too. Like, nobody should just walk in and steal your server, right? So, and then you need racks to rack the servers, and then you need wires to run from between servers, and you need storage racks. So you need a lot of stuff. But what cloud has done is, like, we can get all access to all that. At the end of the day, we were doing all that to get to the compute and network. That's what that, and storage, all those three things, right? We need a building and all that stuff. So with the one line of code or one click, we can get to that server and storage through the internet, which is a bigger network right now. So I will give you an example. Instagram was sold to Facebook for over $1 billion. Long time back, almost like, I think 10, 12 years back. And there were only 12 people in the company. You could not think of that kind of company being formed if cloud was not there. Just imagine if those 12 people had to buy the servers and run the wires and get the building and all that stuff. And by the way, they don't know if what they're building will work or not, right? So they could have taken 2-3 years just to get where they got in, let's say, a month, right? So cloud gives you agility to do things faster, right? So cloud gives you access to servers, storage, and networks like this, right? And then, and another big thing is, you don't have to spend a lot of money. If you're not using, if you're using this much cloud, you pay for this much. If you're using this much, and then you pay more if more people are using your service, right? So that's a huge thing, and you can get rid of it if it doesn't work. Like, if you started a business or a new service, it doesn't work, you just get rid of servers. Like, you don't pay for it anymore, right? And it charges by the milliseconds almost now. It was used to be minutes, it was hours and minutes, and now it's milliseconds. So you don't waste any money at all if you are doing a lot more experimentation. And experimentation is the basis of innovation. In science, we learn that all the time, and that's what we do in computing these days. Like, companies which do very good in technology space, they are the ones who experiment a lot. So cloud gives you the means to do experiments without spending a lot of money. Cloud is free, for, by the way, for most people, most students in university schools. It's free, even for if you're not in colleges or a school. It's free. Amazon has free services. The Azure and Google Cloud, these are three main players in US. They have free services, and so is in India, so is in Germany. So if you're watching from other countries, you can get to the free tier, and you can build a lot.
Okay, so that actually kind of comes to the expected time that we're going to anyways, and the fireside chat. So, I think we'll go ahead and wrap up the fireside chat here. And next up, we have a kid keynote that I am going to present.
Thank you. I should get out of the meeting, right?
Oh no, you can stay in the meeting. Just like basically you need to mute yourself.
Okay, thanks.
Now introducing Karthick K, CEO of Kids Cloud Club.
So hi, this is the kids keynote by Karthick K, and let's get started. So first up, a kid's perspective on cloud computing. First, the cloud is like an energy bill. Like Sarbjeet Johal explained, it's like a pay as you go. And in other words, it's like, do you use a light for like you put it on for the whole night, and then like you have to pay as much as you use. Like if you put it on for the whole night, your bill's obviously going to be probably pretty high. So you probably need to like pay for exactly what you use. And with the horse racing image, that's to symbolize that like businesses like to be a leader with cloud. And in a way that kids can understand, it's like, would you rather ride a turtle or a rabbit in a race? A rabbit is like the cloud. It lets you go really, really fast and lead the way. But a turtle is like every other business, and they still don't have cloud. They still have data centers. They still are like using the older day technology, like data centers, their own servers, which is not really efficient, nor is it fast. So yeah, that's one point. And then you shouldn't quote unquote hug your servers, but in other words, you shouldn't want to like buy your own servers because it costs a lot. It costs a ton, and it's not efficient, and you have to maintain it yourself. It's just generally a lot of work to handle that. Instead, you should just like let AWS, which is a cloud service provider, you should just let them handle it. The cloud should be able to handle all the servers you need, and then after that, you shouldn't be able to have to guess. You should have to be able to guess to how much capacity you have in the cloud. In other words, would you rather like buy groceries just for now, for you to eat now, or would you have to buy groceries for like 5 years from now and have to guess how much groceries you'll need 5 years from now? Wouldn't it be more efficient to buy groceries as you need it? Yeah, so that's that. And then security is people's top priority because no one wants their personal information shared. Nobody wants their personal information leaked. They don't want anything like that. So the cloud has a very secure way of making sure the cloud is secure, so people want to use it. They have a service called IAM. It's kind of a Google Cloud, as Microsoft Azure and AWS all have that. It's kind of a way of making sure the cloud is secure. You can even create users underneath it so that you can like kind of manage them. Like if kids want to get started at AWS, then they would first have their parents create them a root user account, and they can create themselves a user account underneath that so that whatever the users use, like any service the users use, will go to the root account to get paid. So yeah, and then yeah, that's basically also an easy way to get started with cloud is to sign up for an account and then have your parents have a root account, and then you can have a user account, and then you can experiment with services and do all that. And then we're gonna move on to the next slide. And then my journey and how I became to be the founder and CEO of Kids Cloud Club. First up, so one day my dad came back from his developer certification, and then I was like waiting for him to come back, obviously, because I wanted to show him a website that I created. And I created the website, and it said, "Congrats, good job on your certification. Click here." And when he clicked here, it would say "Congrats" again in bold. And I did all this with HTML. And then when he came home, I showed him the website that I built using HTML and S3, cloud service. And then he said, "Do you want to study cloud and get a certification?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. I think that'd be fun." And then, because cloud is fun. And then we started studying about 5 minutes a day for about a year. And then after a year, we went for the certification. We already scheduled the certification, everything like that. We went in, and then I was about to take the test, and the proctor gets a call saying that I can't take the test because I'm not 18 or older. And then, oh, and by the way, he also said that there's no babysitting, and then she got the call. And then after that, we went home a little bit disappointed that I couldn't take the test. And then my dad surprisingly emailed Andy Jassy asking why that had happened. And then Andy Jassy replies later in the later days, "Sorry about the inconvenience. It was more of a liability thing." So then he says, "Okay, sure, we can get him the certification test. Like I think it was like that next week. Then that next week when we went, they treated me like a king. Like they already had everything ready. Everything was perfect. Then I went in, calm and cool, took the test in like less than 90 minutes. And then I came out, and then I told my dad, I did it. And then I wasn't quite I didn't and then when I went home a few days later, I found out that I passed the test. And then a few more days later, they invited me to reInvent 2018. So we flew to reInvent 2018, and that is where I showed the bot that I created at the expo, and that's where I met Jeff Barr. And then when I proceeded to give a presentation to a few middle school students on a field trip to reInvent 2018, I got to meet JPL's president, and if for the people who don't know what JPL is, it's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. And then, of course, I got to meet Andy Jassy, the man who made it all possible. And we got to try. Then I told him that I'd create a robot dog using their deep racer. And then, yeah, we had a short interview with NBC4 Washington News about how I came to be there. And moving on, now it's demo time, and I'm gonna give you a question. How long do you think it will take for you to create a website? I'll show you how to do it in 10 minutes using AWS. Now, I'm going to exit out of the presenting. I have already created this In advanced, it's a basic HTML code on the HTML on how to build a simple website. Now I've already saved this on my computer as a HTML file. You do have to save it saying index.html, so that's easy to load it into AWS S3. And we are going to sign into AWS, logging us into the AWS Management Console. Now we're going to search for S3, a storage service. And now I'm going to create a bucket. I'm going to name it My Test Bucket Kids Cloud Club. Now the name has to be unique. The name cannot be capitalized and it cannot contain spaces and or the special characters. And let's see if this is unique. So first, before we check that, we're going to the US West Oregon region. Unblock public access. We can view the website. We're going to acknowledge it. I'm going to leave everything else default. I'm going to create the bucket. Now, keep in mind, before you do all this, you do have to create an AWS account first, which I did in advance as well. So now I have my test bucket Kids Cloud Club opened up. We're gonna go ahead and upload object. Objects are video files, text files, really any files, or like videos, stuff like that. Let's add a file. And there it is, right there, the file that I saved earlier. Now I have to actually click upload. And yeah, it is officially uploaded. Now we're going to exit out of the object. Now we're going to go to permissions of this object. Or actually, I'm going to go to the bucket actually. Going to click on it. We're going to actions. We're going to scroll all the way down. Make public. I know we did this the other time, but this is just like a second setting that we have to set in order for it to truly be making it public for security purposes. Now that we've successfully made it public completely, we're going to click on the object. And we're going to go to this object URL, which, you guessed it, is our website URL. And boom, I created a website in less than 10 minutes. AWS is so cool, building a website is easy as 1, 2, 3. Boom, we just created a legit website. Now we're going to go back to our presentation and our vision for Kids Cloud Club, which is the club. And we're going to create easy to learn courses and videos, really, really kid friendly. And it's going to be really easy for kids to learn. We're going to produce it very, very soon. We're currently producing it. But yeah, we're going to create really easy videos for kids to learn cloud. And yeah, it's going to be great. moving on. The future of Kidcon, this event. More kid speakers, more speakers, a way larger audience, growing our audience, and with this one for next Kidcon, you guys can help us. And let me tell you how you guys can help us. You guys can share this event on LinkedIn and everywhere. Moving on. A huge thanks to our attendees and a huge thanks to our speakers, Sarbjeet Johal and Shabbir Shiroka. A huge thanks. And happy cloud computing, everybody. And we'll see you next year on KidCon 2022. That's all for the Kids Keynote. Okay, now I will be answering the questions I will be answering the questions live for any of you who have questions currently. Let's see. How will I be able to find it on YouTube? So this webinar, you'll be able to find it on YouTube. The link will be shared via LinkedIn, and will be shared to all attendees that are registered via either Eventbrite or yeah. So both the YouTube recording and actually a YouTube recording will be available later after the webinar. So yeah, it will be available after the webinar. Where is your website? We are currently still in the creating process. We're not quite ready to fully publish it, so we will we will give you guys the link. Hopefully by next KidCon we'll be having it ready. So yeah, how do we contact you? You guys can contact us with any questions, and if you guys want to contribute and help the Kids Cloud Club, to mycloudforkids@gmail.com, and the email is in the chat box to all panelists and attendees. That's the email. It's in the chat. The chat is disabled, but you guys can't chat to us, and so you have to use the Q&A. But we can chat to you. So all attendees just got the email for any questions, and we'll get to you as soon as possible. Yeah. So yeah, that's how you contact us, from mycloudforkids@gmail.com. If you guys would like to contribute, and you can email us at mycloudforkids@gmail.com. If you guys want to get started with the cloud, you guys can sign up at aws.amazon.com. And if you guys want to get started with coding and start off with block coding, you guys can go to scratch.com. Those are some links for some resources for you guys to view. Scratch.com is block coding. If you want to get started with block coding first before you go to the coding, that's for people who are very, very new, or people that just don't want to go straight to the actual coding. For people who do want to go and explore AWS, the link to sign up for AWS is in the chat. AWS.amazon.com, and if you guys have any questions or just want to contribute, you guys can email us at mycloudforkids@gmail.com. And yeah. If you guys have any questions, please type it in the QA now. The webinar will be ending at 10:30. Okay, now that there's no questions, if you guys have any questions, you can email us at mycloudforkids@gmail.com. Want to check out the cloud? Go to aws.amazon.com. Want to check out block coding? Go to scratch.com. And that is it for the webinar. We'll see you on Kidcon 2022. And we'll see you next February. Have a good Sunday and